Spirit chat, take two. Last night we got interrupted, and again, call it what you will. I know my whole setup here was a little off. I mean, even the video, like right now, my video's clear, it's not flashing, right? Last night, it was just flashing. It was flashing, and 30 something minutes into it, it just completely lost. And I not only lost my just wireless, I lost my whole internet. It took me, I don't know how long, 15 minutes to get the wireless back up. And then I couldn't get it up on my computer. It would only come up on my laptop. I mean, my iPad. I'm pointing back there because it's behind me. Sorry. So, for those of you that didn't get to sit through last night, I did post up the recording. It's going to end abruptly, 30-something minutes into it. But there was the, that was all talk. That was all the prelude to what we were getting into. And so we talked about intention. We talked about protection. And, just making sure that you're in that energy of what it is that you're doing, that you're not in fear, no hesitation, that you really understand that you're connecting to energy. Everything is energy, whether it's, past energy, current energy, future energy. Everything is energy. And so if you understand that and how it works, it's really like a radio wave signal, right? So you see yourself emitting out in that radio wave, and that other energy is emitting out also. Depending on the degree of deafness or whether or not they're past, depends on how much light that they're going to be emitting or low energy they're going to have around them. But you can see their energy, and enough to where you don't take it in. You don't own that energy. You're protected from that energy, because that energy could have other energies around it. It's not like spirits walk around in packs or anything, but there are other energetic things that could be around that energy. And so, again, that's where there's no fear, no hesitation, knowing that you're more powerful, that we have the ability. We have all these God-given abilities, and we need to utilize them. That's why I tell everyone who comes into a class with me that we don't just, do a meditation and a visualization every now and again. We operate in our abilities 24/7. Whether you're awake or asleep, you're operating in your abilities. And so when you're awake and you're conscious and you feel things, you see things, you're connecting to that energy. Hey, Diane. Then you can use your discernment. You can communicate, you can feel, we're empathetic. We're going to feel that energy spirit. And again, you're protected, and we're always protected in our bubble 24/7. We have that spiritual condom on. We're not allowing our energy to infiltrate anyone's and anyone's energy to infiltrate us, especially when we're talking about assisting those lost souls in crossing over. So when you encounter a lost soul, who here is medium? I know Janie, Rebecca, you guys are mediums, so you encounter what we call passed over, but also ghosts and things, right? Yes. Yes. All right, so anyone else? Angel, Wayne, Diane, have you encountered ghosts and things? And the reason I ask this, I'm a repetitive person, and I have someone's mic on, so is that Diane? You can talk if you want to. I hear you typing. If you want to respond in voice, you can come on in voice and respond. Maybe they don't have your mic on. Okay, so anyway, when you encounter these energies, though, now, especially for Janie, Rebecca, you guys are, do readings, and I'm not sure, Diane, I know you do readings, so you connect energetically. Angel, have you done any readings? I know you said you had a mentor that's teaching you how to open your abilities, but, connecting when you're doing a reading, sometimes that mediumship comes in, and you're dealing with someone who's typically crossed over, right? I don't call them lost souls. I mean, unless you've connected with somebody who has not crossed over. And again, your discernment lets because, when someone's not crossed over, they typically stay in a low energy, kind of mood. They're sad, they're sorrowful, they hold regret. Right, you're still learning. Okay, good. So when you connect with someone who's not crossed over, they're still holding on to the human emotions, let's say. And so, not only that, their talk to you is going to be kind of human. You know what I mean? It's going to be the same kind of human talk that you would have, and with another being, a human being, meaning that it's going to be about things you know about, things that happen here. And so they're not going to be edifying. It's not going to be enlightening. It's not going to be guiding you to move forward. It's not going to be helpful. It's not going to be edifying. And those are the things. That's how the difference between connecting with someone who's crossed over, and you're giving someone a message through them, and they're bringing out that typically it's love. We do have those encounters where we have someone who has crossed over, and they are full of that love, but their presence and your energy also brings about a presence that maybe affected their crossing, and maybe that person's not crossed over yet. That's why I don't like to cut off. It's like some mediums I know. I'm not going to name names, but some mediums I know, they cut off the reading because they get scared, because they encounter an aggressive spirit, an aggressive entity, whatever you want to call it, an aggressive being that is not loving and compassionate, and might have murdered, taken the life of the person that they're talking to, you know what I mean? And so they cut it off. And I feel like you lose an opportunity in that moment, to give closure, clarity, and compassion to that soul who was terminally, aggressive, right? Because they murdered somebody while they were alive. And so they were, aggressive while they were alive, and they were still aggressive while they're passed on. And so they need help, crossing over. And so I think that, you miss opportunities, and that's what we're here for, right? We're here to provide not just service, but to the living, but to those that are crossed over also, and, may be stuck here. And the whole conversation between Lisa and, who else was on that? The one who posted the picture. You don't remember? April? Anyway, the whole reason we even came about to have this conversation tonight is because they connected with a spirit through the person who posted the picture, which I'm pretty sure was April. She'll let me know now. She's going to watch this back. But anyway, and they both picked up on information, and it was correlating, and it just came about. And so it's like, when we do encounter spirits such as they did, so this woman just walks by this place all the time, and this is the spirit she encounters there. And so, it's like, what do you think, why? For me, I'm compelled to, help them cross over. It's like all my life I've seen dead people. And for me, it's like not just because I get to see dead people. Because trust me, there's no fun. Ashley, thank you, Angel. Especially when I was little, there was no fun in seeing dead people. They came to me the way they passed on, however horrific that might have been. And so you might see those things, so you can't have that fear, right? And so that's why it's big. That's the biggest thing we talk about. It's not just your boundaries in this world, but your protection. Knowing that you're connected, you're balanced, you're grounded in that energy, and you're flowing in that love of the divine. Your intention is pure, and it's simply to assist, to edify. And so you go in there with that intention, always and foremost, and knowing that you're in that protection. And then it's a process. Everyone has their own process, but my process for assisting when I connect with an entity like that, and again, that discernment lets me know, for sure what kind of energy it is, and if it's a ghost situation. And so I, connect with that being, again, not owning anything, knowing that I'm connecting with them through my heart chakra. Again, because I'm in my energy and my protection, and that for me is being completely charged up in my chakras, having that, protection around me. My energy's extended out 20 feet. Your energy actually extends out 20 feet around your physical body. So even before you've, approached that situation, your energy is already in that situation. And so when you meet that exchange, right? And you decide and use your discernment that that is a lost soul, that being might have passed on, 50 years, 60, I guess, even if it was 1946, that would, 75 years ago or 70 years ago, about there. And so that long ago, 1946, is when that being actually lost her life. And so for all this time, since, this is 2015, she's just been wandering. And so connecting to that energy showed that that energy was still sorrowful. That's still, full of regret, still missing her family, still repeating the same process every day. She's just in that area that she, probably died at, and then she's just walking around. So when connecting to that energy, seeing that energy, the first thing you have to do is really convince them that it's, that they can let go of whatever regret and remorse that they're holding on to. The biggest thing that I found with those that could not cross over was because that they were didn't feel worthy. It's like, and it's not worthy like, between God. It's worthy between what was happening in their world, and it's not that they have unfinished business, but they didn't feel worthy because they don't feel like they took care of, or they didn't do enough for. Even with a piece of people who commit suicide, it can take, years for them to really get through the process of realizing that they're still worthy. Because that experience doesn't make up all of who they are. So in connecting with that spirit, just giving them that compassion, and you're really feeling it in your heart chakra and sending it out and seeing it going into that person's energy now. And again, even though there may be other energies, that are coming around her, you start, kind of just put them at bay. Let them know you're not going to deal with them right now, that you're going to deal with this one at a time, because this sorrowful person needs to be able to see what they're dealing with. And then trust me, the other ones will be there. You'll get to them. Again, because typically you're going to have more show up because you're like a beacon, a light, and so they're going to see this. And, because consciously, subconsciously, I think that we all know where we go, but it's in that process of passing over from the time that we die to the time we realize, that, of the process of just feeling worthy. That enthusiasm for life again is what needs to be restored in them. So in that moment of exchanging that energy with them from your heart chakra to their heart chakra, you're just feeding them that compassion. You're telling them that they are worthy enough to go, that their family is waiting for them. And, it could take you several seconds to get that message conveyed. It's taken sometimes a few minutes to get that message conveyed to that spirit. Because, again, we can't do, just like I can't do everything for you in this room. I wish I could, but I can't. I can't do it for you. I don't want to do it for you. It's your life. But we can't do it all for them either. They have to come to that acceptance, to that enthusiasm for life, to that worthiness spot. That's, trust me, so many that go through this physical experience die feeling so unworthy. And so we have to get them into that. And so just so they can, once you see that little glimmer of hope that they've gotten into that, and that's when what we do is we are all a part of this living vortex. And so we open up our vortex. And again, you're already in your chakra energy. You're already connected and grounded. And the vortex that we're all a part of actually comes from our feet, from Mother Earth, and then it goes up around your body. And you're going to see it go all the way to the creator source. You're going to see that vortex open up, and then you're just going to see that swirl of vortex encompass that being, and allow them to just, start lifting up and go, and just imagine them, seeing them in, that vortex, moving themselves up and through, and then see it go all the way to the creator, and just see it, see it all the way through. And then again, if you've had others that have come in during the process with this one, then go ahead and help them out as well. I've literally, when I've done a clearing, especially on old land, it not only did humans come through, but animals come through. Horses and dogs and cows, and there was just all kinds of things that are stuck in some places. Again, because of energy, because of portals and vortexes that other people and things have opened up, and just causes an area of low energy, like we were talking about last night with that property that I cleared. I mean, the whole portal was in this huge pasture, and so it just was, it can cause so many different ailments and things in all sorts of living things. Everything is affected. Again, everything is energy. And then when you are done and you see that you've cleared that area, and again, you can be standing there with your arms wide open and just you imagine yourself in that vortex and just clearing up everything, and then everything is going up and transforming. When you see everything go up into that vortex, you're giving it that, again, that worthy feeling. So you're transforming them and their energy. And then, again, as they're moving up, they transform more and more as they go. I have had some energies that were a little harder to get up into that vortex. Again, it just took some coaxing. To let them know that they're worthy. That's the biggest thing. It's like you can't sit there and say, don't feel bad for murdering that people. Don't, feel bad for cheating on your wife. And you know what I'm saying? Those things, those little tiny things that of course we do that are big in our lifetime, when it comes to the point of death, it's really about how do they feel about themselves. What's that worthiness? What's that enthusiasm for life? And what's their belief system like too? I've dealt with people that were just so rigid in their belief structure that it took them a while to, believe that their body didn't just die and lay dormant in the ground till Jesus returned. That they were actually out of their body. It wasn't even in the ground. In fact, I know people who want to be buried because they feel their body is going to be restored whole again. They're taught that. It's not their fault. But this is the stuff that you have to fill out when you're dealing with them, and you will. You just have to trust you're in that energy. You allow that energy exchange, knowing that you're not going to be affected. You're not taking on their angst. You're not taking on their aggression. You're not taking on their sorrow. You're just constantly emitting out that worthiness, that love to them. And again, it's that agape love that's just unconditional, full of compassion. You're just convincing them. You really have to convince them sometimes. Other times it's easier. Some of them go up quicker. They just needed someone to tell them that they were worthy enough, that they were loved, that they were more than, instead of not enough of. It's a mind fuck. Sorry for the expression, but what we do on this planet to each other, the low energies. I saw a picture the other day. It was a great depiction. It was a mother talking and all these bad words just being fed into this kid's brain, and that's pretty well the way energy works. And again, it's transferred. It's transferred. So it's really about bringing them up into that worthiness. Hello everyone who was able to join us. Let me read what Janie's saying. Have you ever met a spirit that has not crossed over and just reading a picture from a sitter wants to hear from that person? Yes. Several times. And again, I would say that probably 94% of the those that I'm doing a reading for, and their passed over loved ones come through. 94% of the time they're crossed over. It's just a real small percent. And it's enough though for a mass consciousness. It's enough though for that energy play to just be such a low energy as to hold things. I mean, it's like my goodness. Okay, but anyway, I keep getting off track. I want to get back to the vortex because I don't want to leave you hanging, because you can't leave that open. When you're done and you've said all that energy, transformed it, and sent it back to the creator source, you close your vortex. You close it, and then you bring it back down, just filling your entire being with all that love and devotion and compassion from Mother Earth and the Great Spirit that is readily available to us all the time. And then just bring yourself back into your body and just say thank you for that experience. Thank you for the ability to, assist and help others. Because that really puts worthiness into us being able to help others, whether they've crossed over or they're real. It's like we should do random acts of kindness all the time and help other people as much as possible, because really that's what it is to live in our energy 24/7, to be aware, to be knowing, and constantly stepping into that knowing of who we are, what we're doing here, and that it's not also terrible and bad, and there can really be a beautiful place as long as our perspective and our intention is good. And again, that doesn't mean bad things aren't going to happen. That just means that you're going to be able to deal with them and respond to them differently when you have a better understanding of energy. And so that goes for the same thing. You know, you can do that same energy exercise with a living person. You know, someone who you have an angst with. You know, you just, again, from that heart chakra, you see your heart chakra feeling their heart chakra. And
Solana can't hear you. Well, maybe she'll get back on in a minute.
She might be having the same issue she had last night.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, I made it back.
Mhm.
You guys. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Yes, yay. Okay, cool. Oh my God. Again, I had to go unplug the router. I don't get it. You know? Hmm. Didn't. Okay, so anyway. Anyway, we were talking about what to say when you're dealing with a person. And again, if you're, working in your intention, of that, just that sending out that edification, because what you got to realize is that we are constantly sending out and emitting and receiving energy all the time, right? I mean, whether we're aware of it or not. That's why when we walk into a grocery store, we can feel their energy, right? We can pick up, like if somebody's in the meat market and has a bad day, and then you're gonna like have a bad day, or just driving down the road and that thoughts and road rage and things enter your mind. You can change that in that area that you're feeling that emit your love out. That's how we change the dynamics of the energy. And so when you are dealing with a person, and even a crossed over entity that needs assistance, you're going to be giving him that energy from your heart chakra, and it's just going to be love and compassion. So your intention is already set to be emitting out that love and compassion 24/7. Really, that's what it is to live in the knowing, to live and operate in that, no matter what. I mean, you could have your moments. That's not saying that you can't be human at all and have your emotion. You just recover quicker. You're like, oh, okay, no, not going to be that girl or guy, whichever the case may be. And so when you're dealing with someone in, that that you're directing that energy, because you're directing the emitting 24/7. But when you are, directing that energy to a person, you're repeating in your mind just that you're going to, hope that they have a better day, that you hope that their love is, wonderful in their life. You hope that their relationships are great. You're basically just praying for them as that you are intentionally saying, you're not saying don't be mean. You're saying I hope you have a great day. I hope you smile more. You're beautiful. I mean, you send them thoughts that they themselves should be thinking, right? And then just see what happens. I mean, typically they have two things that happen. They either can calm down, and they have a better day, and you can have a conversation with them, or they just they can't handle your energy. I've actually had people tell me that I can't handle your energy because I'm sending them love because they're in a bad mood. I can't handle it. It's
Are you talking about the sitter?
yeah, anybody,
Hmm.
yeah. Anybody other than outside of yourself, they can't handle your energy if they are in that low angst.
Right.
They can't handle the positivity, so they either go with it, flow with it, and grab hold of it, which is what we really hope and pray that they do.
What if the
'Cause
sitter is very, very nice and they want to get a hold of somebody who they don't tell you who it is, but you know it's their grandfather, and you come to find out and you feel like there's something wrong there with the grandfather, but you don't know what it is. Later they tell you, yeah, there was something wrong with him, but you feel from him a horrible nervousness. It's more than just being nervous. It is like he's grouchy all the time. He's no telling what
anxiety.
else,
Mhm.
you know. And so, it didn't even cross my mind that maybe he's not crossed over. I don't know. But
Yeah.
it was low
Mhm.
energy. It was hard to get anything from him, but that feeling I got from him was pretty bad. It wasn't like he was going to hurt me or anything like that. It just he was so angst. Do you know what I mean? Uh-oh. 2.
So, Janie, did you tell her any of this, or did you just say you couldn't?
No, because I was like trying to figure it out myself. Because every time I've done a reading, I've done many readings. I've never come across a spirit that felt like that to me. That was like a negative feeling. But it wasn't like he was trying to hurt me or her or anything. It was like inside of him. So I didn't know what to say, except I felt she kind of validated in that he was not a good person, but she really wouldn't come out and say what he did or didn't do. So, you know.
When we were in class, when we were both in PAC class, I had a picture like that, and I passed on it because I felt like he hadn't passed over, and I didn't
Hmm.
have any clue how to handle that.
Hmm.
So,
Well, you know, hindsight, thinking back on it, I feel like I should have, like, I did give him compassion just because, like Solana was saying, you go in the read with compassion for all around you. But I felt like I really should have um, pinpointed it more toward him, not necessarily telling the sitter, but telling him that it was okay, he was fine, he was loved, and, all that. But it just didn't cross my mind. I was in the middle of just trying to figure out what is wrong here. But then all of a sudden, that feeling, it just snapped. It was gone. I mean, it came, and it went. But it lasted a little while.
and so, what did you tell her anything, or did you?
No, I didn't tell her anything about that. I might have told her that I felt a real nervousness with him, but that was about it. Because I was still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was okay. It was successful, but, thinking back, I feel bad for him. Felt like he needed more compassion than she did, whether he was really crossed over or not.
And we're getting bumped out left and right. Well, Angel's still here, and it looks like Janie got back in.
Yep.
Good.
I don't know what happened. But you know what I mean by that? I felt like I should have given him more compassion than her, because it seemed like, I don't know, it seemed like I should have made more effort toward him and that. It just
But
didn't.
I don't know. Did that happen? If that's never happened before, how would you know to do that?
Right. That's right. I mean, that was the first time that had happened. It's always been good people. I mean, like, we didn't have any real super issues that I could feel. I may have learned something about him, but not like that. Yeah, you're right. And thank God it was only one. I learned from it.
Well, I've learned from it now. I mean,
But
I
like Solana
suppose.
said, you shouldn't really stop the reading because they're in need.
Well, I never started the reading,
Yeah, right.
but yeah, I guess not stopping the reading. But if you come across something like that, maybe there's a way to say they aren't passed over, and you can figure that out to help them pass over
Well,
without
I,
involving the sitter.
I probably didn't vet him. I don't remember. And if I had have, then, if he had not crossed over, he probably would have said, no, or not said anything. But I don't know. And I didn't feel it at first. It was like he came closer and then I felt it. Dear, bang.
Mm. So you feel if you vetted him, he would have not
Well,
talked to you?
possibly, yeah. I mean,
Oh, because you would be saying, "Are you from the light?"
right,
That's right.
right. Hmm. But that's not why I didn't vet him. I don't think I did. I think it just crossed my mind. Didn't cross my mind. I was in a hurry, and I didn't. I didn't expect that.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's interesting.
Hmm. Learn something all the time.
Well, that's one of the reasons I take so long. It does